Knives, swords, hallucinogens, and religious people. Well, now all we're missing is the multi-level marketing. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I have just seen the 2007 independent horror film End of the Line, about a religious cult that has used hallucinogens to make their believers believe that it's the end of the line, the end of the world, that the devil is coming and that you must go and free all of the sinners from their earthly bonds by murdering them with stabbing objects. Okay, here's the thing. Much as I very much enjoy the premise of this film, and the action is tight, claustrophobic, and very much feeling, the big problem is that the premise here is that they would have to have so many people converted. I mean, literally, it would have to be 50% of the population, because one dude with a gun starts knocking people off. He could take out hundreds. The world wouldn't end. The world would be mildly annoyed for a couple of days. But I digress. I'm going to take that disbelief, and I'm going to do what all good moviegoers do, and I'm going to suspend it. I'm going to put it over here and talk about what is this movie really about. This movie is about religious fanaticism and acceptance. Why? Because on the one hand you have religious fanatics committing acts of violence, and this is deplorable, it's hateful, it's sad, I'm coughing, it's very relevant. I'm coming down with something. And it being very relevant, there are characters who are members of this religion who are not devout followers, but, you know, are kind of sucked into this situation. They're not bad people, and discriminating against these people winds up being a negative. So we have to look at this, and what is the meaning of this particular film? Well, it is take everyone as an individual, and don't accept free muffins. Because accepting the free muffins in this film, definitely a bad idea. Definitely a bad idea. Definitely a bad idea. Now, Ilian Elkin plays Karen, the nurse, who is the primary and essential character to this film. She is who we see this through for the most part. Most of the scenes involve her. And she's very effective at that. I felt for the character. I wanted for her safety. I will have to point out, though, that this is not a traditional horror movie in the sense that there is no obligatory boob shot. There's none of that. Take that idea and throw it away. There are women in jeopardy, which is not a big thing for Hollywood nowadays. I mean, all in all, was this a great horror film? No. It was not a great horror film. Was this a bad horror film? No. I mean, for what it was, I felt it was a little amateurish. You could tell that this was definitely not a major Hollywood film. This is definitely not something you would see in theaters. There were a few production value issues. There are a few points where the shots just looked like somebody with a camera, as opposed to the crispness, as opposed to the beauty of more modern filmmaking. I mean, it's just one of those things. This really looked like it was something shot in the 90s and designed for home video, but a really good thing shot in the 90s and meant for home video. Not something that a studio would do, but something that a group of people who truly love film would do, getting together with a camcorder. Again, if you can get past that, if the quality of the footage, which is not terribly bad, but just not super good, if you can get past that, this is a pretty good film. It's a good little film. It teaches you, in a way, to look at people as individuals, not as members of a group. It teaches you not to let your guard down around someone just because of their appearance. And that's a very good lesson. I like that about this film. I enjoyed End of the Line. Would I really recommend it? Yeah, I would. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it as, hey, it's movie night and we're all getting together, but I believe this is one of those films that should probably be on your watch list if you have the opportunity. If it comes up on Netflix or some other streaming service, Yes, totally. Go watch this film. It's a solid film with a solid premise, and it's really worth seeing. I didn't feel like pausing it. I didn't feel like getting up and walking away from it. There were a couple points where it did lag, but I'm an impatient person. So, all in all, end of the line, not a bad movie. It is a movie about tolerance, acceptance, and not judging people by their physical appearance. And that gets 2 thumbs up from me. I'm Richard Neal.